Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another night of My Life Has Destiny podcast, where I am your host, Coco Fitton. And y'all see my wonderful guest that is with me tonight, Mr. Jamir. I have been waiting for him to come up here for about a year and a half, y'all. So y'all know I'm excited that he is finally with us tonight. He's going to share some wonderful golden nuggets about what he does. I am truly excited to hear about his program, not only just his program, but his book. So I want him to tell y'all how to find all that stuff before we get up off of here. And y'all will have to pray for my co-host because she is not up here tonight. She has some procedures done, so keep her in prayer, please. She might pop in a little while, but she won't stay that long because she's in a little bit of pain. But like I said, y'all, please keep her in your prayers tonight. So we're praying for you, Quint. And on top of that, I will be sharing some announcements before the show ends tonight as well, because we got some good stuff coming up down the line, up the pipe. So I hope you guys are ready. I will also be getting ready to share some new flyers with y'all this week. It'll be on my storyline and on my timeline, on my Instagram. Y'all know how to find all that stuff. And we have some other stuff coming up too as well. So I'm going to do everybody's announcements before the night is over. And if Mr. Jamir has any announcements for y'all concerning any events that he might have coming up, I want him to share that with y'all tonight as well. So, other than that, we are not going to prolong it. So, thank you guys for popping in with us again tonight. What I want y'all to do is please like, share, and comment. All right. Send it over to YouTube's, Instagram, all of that. Also, anybody that is on my Instagram feed, share it. Y'all already know what to do for me, right? So we're about to get started. So, Mr. Jamir, thank you once again for accepting my invite.
Thank you for
Please
having
go ahead. You are
me.
welcome. Please go ahead and tell the people about you, what you do, and let's just get started.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, let me say, I'm gonna send a special prayer out for your co-host, and if she listening, I hope you feel better. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I was looking forward to meeting with both of y'all, but I'm understanding what she's going through, so we're gonna send our best to her.
Thank you.
Yes, Lord. So that's first and foremost. Second, congratulations on everything y'all got going, cause y'all doing big things for those that might not be in tune. But I be watching y'all because I'm a fan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Correct, I'm a fan. And thank you for the invite. Yeah. So for those who may not know, again, my name is Jamir Jamoke to be exact, which a lot of people pronounce it Jamir Jamoke, which is cool too, because most people that know me from back home or whatever, they call me Jamoke, so that's fine. Um, so basically, I am the chief encouragement officer for a social enterprise called Remain Resilient, which is a reentry and recovery reform initiative and movement. Our primary target with our social mission is to combat recidivism, encourage positive progression, and deter youth from the culture of poor decision making, and even specifically the criminal justice system. So everything that we do, the reason that we call ourselves a social enterprise is because, to be honest with you, I've operated in the space as a nonprofit professional for a long time. And what I found was that a lot of the solutions that we needed, to provide our community often got caught up in the profits of perpetuating the problem per se, right? So and that's no knock on nonprofits as a whole. It just means that, with the politics involved in regards to the necessities that have to be taken care of to secure funding and things of that nature, that a lot of times the quality of the service kind of falls to the wayside because the people, what I'm saying, that's in charge of getting the money to address the problem lose sight of what's necessary in the trenches to actually provide solutions. And specifically speaking of recidivism, you know, um, statistically speaking, like 70 to 80% of brothers and sisters that come home from jail, juvenile detention centers, or prisons are typically rearrested within 3 to 5 years of their return. So for me, it's like the question becomes why? Why is that happening? Because I've been involved in, in the nonprofit sector. I've been involved in the helping professional business or, uh, different organizations or whatever the case for a long time. And then there's elders out here that's been in it longer than I have. And the money that we still talking about to create, these solutions is still circulating the same way it was before. And a lot of money has already been allocated and a lot of money has been given to a lot of different organizations to do a lot of different things. But yet the problem still exists. You know what I mean? And the problem still exists and all this money that's being thrown around and you got to ask yourself, is it just about the money? Like, is the money going to create the solution itself? And I just find in the people that, that I move around with, find that, we have to be the change that we seek and we have to go out here and create, what I'm saying, the industries and the infrastructure and the things that we need to create solutions so we ain't just finding ourselves always being dictated and dependent on somebody else's money to make our communities better. So that was kind of like, the notion for why we started Remain Resilient. And then for me specifically, I am a recidivism survivor. I've been out of prison for since 1999. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I haven't been in no trouble since 1999, but I'm saying I haven't been back to prison since 1999. I had a couple little close calls here and there for whatever reason as I was trying to figure out, the process of how to survive recidivism. But all in all, I've been relatively unscathed by the culture of poor decision makings or the same social pressures that I see a lot of guys falling victim to now. So that's kind of like my motivation is, what I'm saying, for one, to combat recidivism because I truly believe that recidivism is a socially induced disease.
Awesome. So if what's the word I'm looking for? If a person is looking to um try to reintegrate themselves into society,
Mm-hmm.
right? What advice would you give?
Um, the advice that I would give anybody that's trying to, successfully transition, back into the community, back in society, is the same thing that I talk about in my upcoming book, My State of Mind: 7 Steps for Surviving Recidivism. Right? Because again, like I said, I've been out of prison since 1999, which means if you look up now, it's what 2022. So
Mm-hmm.
about I got like 22 years of insight and experience on the best methods and best practices on how to survive recidivism, how to continue to be socially successful and sustainable, and assimilate into. And I say assimilate loosely, but I mean more so like learn your way through navigating the challenges of society, which for me looked completely different than it did when I was in the streets. So coming home just with the intentions, what I'm saying, to do the right thing was one thing, but then coming home faced with the reality of all the different challenges and obstacles that I had to overcome and to consistently overcome, that's when it really dawned on me, like as I got along in the process was that, this is truly a mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's a shift in the mindset. It's a growth mindset. You know, the mind is all in regards to being able to do the right thing for the right reasons consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I say that to say, you know, similar to what I talk about in the book, the first thing that I would say to anybody that's trying to transition back into society is to first find your motivation, the first step. You know what I'm saying? And when I say motivations, you have to be very, very specific about that too, because everybody or certain people are motivated by different things, right? But for me, my motivation was finding something that I cared about more than my own personal agenda. And the reason being is when I was in the streets, I was socialized to be a survivor. You know what I'm saying? So survival became my idol. And because I wanted to survive and because I prioritized, you know, getting by any means, not necessarily best means, by any means, you know, I really didn't care who I stepped on or stepped over in order to fulfill the agenda that I had, which in my mind was survival, but it really was self destruction. So when I found my motivation, I couldn't be about me because it's
Right.
easy for me to disappoint myself, or it's easy for me to talk myself into continuing to do whatever is comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was about prioritizing my kids, and my wife. And that sound like real cliche, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I did it for my family. What but the truth is like that became my motivation because once I started prioritizing the people that were most important and the people that I was a lot of times neglecting for other people and other individuals that wasn't as important and showed me that they wasn't as important because when I was locked up, nobody was there for me but the same people that I neglected, you know what I'm saying, when I was out. So I channel that, and as I tell other people that I work with in the jails or the prisons and so forth, like you got to find your why. You got to find your why first and foremost. Find your why, lock into that why, and use that why to channel all your energy and filter all your decisions that you make. Everything is a big deal. Nothing is small, like simply choosing which store to stop at on the way home. You know what I'm saying? That is a big deal. And you should stop and think and process your decisions through the lens of your why before you make any of them. So that way you always conscious of how something that you could do or something that you could allow yourself, to be subjected to could have a ripple effect on, you know, the people that's most important to you. And it sounds very elementary when I say it now, but there was a time when I was, just to be honest, like I was just in the moment, you know what I'm saying, and just moving like that. So I would say first and foremost, find your motivation, find your why, determine what that is. Maybe it's your grandchildren. Maybe it's your job. I don't know. Maybe your mom. Whatever it is, your career, your passion. Find that, lock into it, and let that be the ultimate deterrent factor from you doing anything or making any decisions that can put you back in jail or prison. So obviously, motivation is one. Two, you have to be introspective. You know what I'm saying? Introspection is key because you have to be able to have the ability to have an honest, brutal, open, transparent conversation with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to find somewhere because, we get caught up in doing all of the things that we feel like are required of us and the social expectations and the social media and all of that. But in reality, you got to be able to sit down because there's no better place to introspect outside of a funeral, right? Because you faced with the reality of somebody else's decisions, and at that point in time, you're given an opportunity to reap the reward of the wisdom that you could extract from the situation. But if your mind ain't right, you ain't paying attention to none of that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're up, thing, it's the first time when you get locked up. It's typically the first. Well, I'm gonna speak for myself. When I was getting locked up, that was typically the first time that I had the chance to actually sit down and sit still and think about anything because I was all the time. I wasn't constantly locked into every little intricacy that was going on around me. I was just kind of like going through the motions, right? So, in order to introspect, you have to start asking yourself. You have to take like a self analysis and an honest survey of your emotional landscape, right? Because introspection is synonymous with emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? That is probably, if not the most important factor. You know what I'm saying? It's learning how to be emotionally intelligent, learning how to, control your impulses, dodge your triggers, what I'm saying? Knowing your weaknesses, knowing your strengths, knowing what you need to get better at, knowing what you can utilize to your advantage in order to maximize your potential. But all of those things take, the ability to look within and really reflect on, what you got to offer and what you might need to do to tighten up. So introspection, and then niche, right? So everybody their own niche. You know what I'm saying? You have to figure out what that is, and that's typically, grounded in whatever you feel like your purpose is and whatever you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? But passion by itself ain't enough because you can be passionate about a lot of things. Like I'm passionate about the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? But there's no would try out for the Lakers because I got two left feet. I'm trash. So just because I'm passionate about it don't necessarily mean I should put my time into pursuing it. But for me, I found that I had a passion, what I'm saying, for people. Like for a long time I tried to like make sense of it, but I just understand that where I come from, like my neighborhood, Dewdrop, Jacksonville, North Carolina, you know what I'm saying, to be exact. Like I came up in a neighborhood where my community literally was like a village and everybody looked after each other, you know what I'm saying? And there was times when, we couldn't eat or, whatever the case is, it was Miss Velma down the street, it was Miss Sister, it was Miss Naomi, like, you know what I'm saying, Miss Rose, like it was like a collective of big mamas, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And then you had my uncles and Uncle Joe and you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? So I had that village like, and so yeah, you know what I mean? Finding your niche, cause I'm sorry, I kinda got lost in my memory right there, cause some of them ain't around no more. So that was yeah,
Hey, it's all right.
no doubt. But yeah, so I learned from them, you know what I'm saying, how to prioritize other people, and I got those values from them, but then I also lost sight of those values while I was caught up in the streets because I started believing that the only thing that I was capable of doing, or the only thing that I could be successful at, was doing the things that I felt like was necessary for survival, but it ain't wasn't just survival because I fell in love with the life. That's why I say that recidivism is a socially induced disease because it is and I know this because I work in addictions now. I'm a recovery coach, and I'm peer support, things of that nature. So I work with individuals in recovery and stuff like that. And as I'm working with these individuals and I'm learning more, I'm under, clinical supervision. I'm, in the process of becoming, a leadership counselor and things like that. So I learned, different things about mental health that I wasn't even, what I'm saying, that I didn't even understand basically. But one of the parallels that I see a lot of times now is that, man, recidivism in the streets um is just as powerful as language, just as powerful, but it's similar to the impulses and the triggers and the different dynamics that come with recovering from a generalized, form of addiction. You know what I mean? So finding your niche is basically a way to give yourself a positive distraction and to find out that you can do something else. You can be Kevin Liles, you ain't got to be Benny the Butcher before the rap. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
So,
Simone, welcome. I always like to acknowledge people when they come in and say hello. So,
but
hey,
yeah,
Simone, welcome. Thank you for joining the show.
yeah, finding your niche is important for me. That was like becoming, you know, ultimately becoming a counselor, and I come from an era, of, drugs and alcohol and addiction and liquor houses and things of that nature. My pops passed, what I'm saying, recently, from lung cancer, and
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, appreciate that, but with that situation, like it just woke me up and was like, you got to take care of your body. You know what I'm saying? You got to be conscious, what I'm saying, of the things that you put in your body over a long period of time because we playing a lot of makeup with our bodies right now because we've been
That's
destroying
it.
ourselves for a long time. And then, like, for me, like, when I turned 40, like, everything went left the same day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I started feeling stuff I won't feel. So, so I'm like, yo, I gotta diet up. But, but yeah, so finding my niche was important, and then obviously developing that niche um, narrative. You know what I'm saying? Because I know just my lived experience and my natural raw talents, or whatever the case, is not enough to take me to the next echelon of success. or surviving recidivism, right? Because proper preparation prevents poor performance, and we have to make ourselves humble enough to be receptive to other people's help. Because I wasn't always receptive to other people's help, even though some people tried to help me. What I'm saying? I thought I could do everything on my own, or I didn't want to let nobody help me because I didn't want to feel like they could hold it over my head after. What I'm saying? Whatever materialized. So I try to make myself a lone wolf, what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
they once you find your niche, what I'm saying, you need to find you some quality, what Les Brown called OQP, only quality people, right?
Right.
You gotta take your niche like your ball before you take it home. You gotta cuff your niche, and then you got to go find people that can help you develop it and find situations and opportunities, whether that internships, whether that be going to volunteer. A lot of people don't want to work for free. When I got out of prison, I went and worked for free for a whole bunch of organizations. You know what I'm saying? Just doing volunteering and stuff like that while I was trying to find a job. Obviously, I couldn't get a job right off the rip because of my record and having to navigate that conversation or whatever the case is. So instead of just giving up and not doing nothing, I said, let me go work for free. You know what I'm saying? Because I came out of jail the last time I was incarcerated with a mission to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because I had been
Awesome.
I'm tearing down my own people. I came that passion. I was like, all right, if I can't find no job, I'm gonna make a job. And if I ain't, I don't got no carpentry skills or nothing like that. So I was like, well, let me go find something that I'm passionate about and that my heart is in, whether it be the homeless, whether it be education, whether it be recidivism. And I say, well, let me go start, you know, um, paying this forward, serving leadership like we was talking about before we came up here. You know what I'm saying? And that led to me being surrounded by individuals that helped me learn things that I didn't know, and it also allowed individuals to bring to my awareness that I knew a lot more than I thought I did.
You'll be surprised sometimes when you think that you don't know. Sometimes you might end up being the smartest one in the room. Sometimes, so it happens like that. But I have to say that I commend you for coming out and even willing to do that, like willing to go volunteer, willing to go intern somewhere. Somebody will say, knowing that you're not gonna get no paycheck, but it's the knowledge that you gained while you did that
Yeah.
that got you where you at.
And opportunities, like, because it's like, it ain't what you know, it's who you know a lot of times.
Right.
I'm saying, but it's like I seen I ain't gonna bring that dude up, but anyway, I seen this interview where there was this girl, the dude was saying something about the girl said she need a doctor or something like that, and then he said, "Well, where you gonna be at? Where the doctor's gonna be at?" You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm listening now. I'm like, okay, well that makes sense because I felt the same way. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I want to take myself to the next echelon of success and professionalism or whatever the case is, and I gotta put myself around, those type of circles, those type of rooms, you know what I'm saying? And I use I used the opportunities and the individuals that I met, not used, but you know what I'm saying? I took advantage of those opportunities to get in the rooms with people to show them, primarily to show them that regardless of the stereotypes or the social stigmas or the self-fulfilling prophecies or whatever, because I represent, you know what I'm saying? I represent the constituency of where I come from and my culture.
Right.
So when I walked in the rooms, they automatically assume one thing, but by the time I left, they assumed something different. And that's an obligation and a responsibility for me because I know that when I leave out the doorway, somebody else gonna come behind me. So I want to make sure that I can open their eyes and their ears before those walking behind me can walk in the same door I did. So yeah.
That's. I mean, it's just the fact that you overcame the stereotypes, and I talk about it all the time. That you do not have to live up to the label that's been put on you.
Mm-mm.
And so often in life, we have labels thrown on us by other people who can never see past where we are at that current moment.
Facts.
So we have to learn to see past where we are and know that we can do far better, be far greater, and we do not have to be what you just said I was.
Exactly.
You
Don't let
know,
define your destiny.
right?
Uh,
And also your past don't dictate your future.
at all.
You know, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is my past do not dictate my future. I am nothing like what I used to be. You know what I mean? And I can honestly say I'm so glad about that. You know what I mean? But
Thank
I can say
you.
that who I used to be did help make me into who I am today.
That's a fact,
You know
though.
what I'm saying? I never just of it because part of who I used to be and part of some of the things that I used to do helped me to get where I am.
That's a
So
fact.
I'll never just fully dismiss it. You know what I mean? But I never lived up to the stereotype. You
No,
you will never say that I'll never go past this, that, and the third. You know, so it was just one of those things for me, and I'm so glad that I had the mindset to say, you can say what you want, but that ain't how I feel about me.
that's a
You
fact.
know, and I think that too often now the problem is that a lot of people don't see themselves greater than where they are because they've been bashed and talked about and put down so often they can't go past it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know people who still dealing with stuff that they dealt with from when they was childhood age. They still don't know how to let it go and release it.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, to me, I tell people all the time that yeah, you dealt with it. That was a part of your process, but that part of your process is now over.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta move on.
That's a fact, though.
You gotta walk into your future. If
That's
you don't walk into your future, first of all, it ain't like your future gonna come smack dab into you. It's
nah.
it's a process, y'all. You and your future gotta meet.
Everything is a process. Yeah.
Right. It's a
Right.
process, and your future gotta meet at some point. You know, if you don't never meet your future, then where you gonna go?
Yeah. Got to show
Right.
walk. Yeah.
Right. You know what
You
I'm saying? Like,
don't keep coming out at night. You ain't showing up. I'm saying,
right.
nah, you ain't came. What the? I ain't coming.
Right. But I'm saying, but you got so many people who don't do that. It's just like when you tell them, and I come from the word a lot. So when people talk to me about certain things, I say, well, first of all, faith without work is dead.
Mm-hmm. That's a
If you
fact.
don't have, if you ain't working the faith, baby, the faith ain't moving.
That's a fact, though.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to believe in what you're doing in
Mm-hmm.
order for it to manifest.
Sure
Because
do.
it'll never manifest if you don't believe it.
That's a fact. I
You
heard
know
this
what I mean?
one time. He said that if you think it, you what he say? If you conceive it, you can believe it. If you believe it, you can achieve it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It was real subtle, but I was like, ooh, like what did he just say?
right,
I'm saying like that's deep.
right. And one of the things too that I think people forget about is that the Bible say that so a man thinketh, so is he.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you think about yourself is normally what you deal with.
That's a fact.
If you don't see yourself, I mean, let me just ask you this question. Literally, 10 years ago, did you see yourself being where you at right now?
Nah, nah, because it 10 years ago. What's that? 2012. Nah, nah, because it was all relatively new for me, and I was just like, I mean, I got pushed into leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like I backed myself in that corner where I ain't had nowhere to go but to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even like I said, being in certain spaces around certain people, they kind of brought it to my attention or whatever, whatever light that was shining that I was purposely, intentionally, or inadvertently trying to dim or letting somebody else dim. Like
Right,
they let me know, like, young boy, you got something. Like you got an obligation, you got a priority to it. Like tighten up, man, you know what I'm saying? Don't just be laissez fly, like you know what I'm saying, and being complacent and not really taking your gift. And like the Bible said, your gift will bring you before great men. You know what I'm saying?
right,
God ain't just gonna send you anywhere around anybody. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna make sure you prepared But at the same time, you got to take accountability for preparing yourself as well, because he giving you an opportunity to prepare for those opportunities. And listen, ain't nothing worse than getting the opportunity and not being prepared.
That part.
Opportunity, you know what I'm
That
saying?
part. You know, something that I say it to my spiritual parents all the time, and they say it to me. Be ye ready at all times. They always say that. Be ye ready at all times. Always be ready to either talk about what you do, show up, to say who you are in the room, and don't ever let somebody make you feel like that because they have this, they they quote unquote have this type of prestige that
That's,
other people have given them that you can't square up.
let me tell you something. One time, and I'm not gonna say the specific into whatever the case. I'm gonna just say that I walked in a room that was full of quote unquote professionals and people with money, as we call them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I walked there, obviously the way I live and the way they live was totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Representation of the culture that, what I'm saying, that I come from. But anyway, they was like, I came in there and then I got word after the fact, like they was referring to me as the felon. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I had worked my tail off and done my due diligence to put myself in a position to even be able to walk in that room. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Never had anybody of color in that position in that room ever. You know what I'm saying? In that particular position. And that says, I mean, I'm light skinned. So you know what I'm talking about? Hey, they never had nobody, and when I came in there, I walked away and they talked about me and referred to me as the felon. So just imagine what they would do or what they would say about somebody that isn't as far along in the process and doesn't have, as much to show in regards to the work that they put in to try to get themselves in the position that they at. So I felt obligated in that space where I could have responded to it like, "Yo, who you talking to?" or da da da. Da. But I was like,
Right.
you know what? I'm gonna turn it up a notch, and I'm gonna show y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show y'all that we have something to offer, that I have something to offer, that my insight is invaluable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What I possess, you could never get. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go to school, you could do whatever you want to do, but you don't have this lived experience. I can always go get what you got. You
Right.
know, I can go get a degree. I can go read some books. I do that anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what I have is special, it's unique, but it's just learning how to develop it, which goes back to what we said as far as attention and all that. Like learning how to develop it and maximizing every moment that you in them spaces and you have an opportunity to put on for us.
It's like I think that when people make this what they call justification about you, um, and then when they see you in action and what they thought was so wrong, they still some of them will never come to you and apologize,
Mm-mm.
and then you have some that will actually step up and say, you know what, I was wrong.
Facts.
You know what I mean? and
Facts.
and the ones that do step up and say that I was wrong, a lot of them at that point in time now want to connect with you, you
Ex-
know. And then, like we were just saying, sometimes it's not about what you know; it's definitely about who you know. You
mm-hmm.
know, there are places that I have gone, and it wasn't about what I knew; it was about the person that I knew in the room,
The plug.
right? That
Like,
I knew in the room, and I
it's
mean,
the same language. It's like that
right.
plug. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and then when the person that everybody else waiting to see, everybody waiting to be introduced to, actually says my name over the mic, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Yeah, I want y'all all to welcome her," and I'm just sitting there like, "No, don't. Why are we doing this right now? This, you know." And they was like, "No, I want you to welcome her," and I was like, from the corner or wherever, and
Mm.
they like, "Yo, how she know? How you?" Everybody after the thing is like, "Oh, how you know them?" Don't worry about how I know them.
Yeah.
Because when I walked in, you felt like I shouldn't know somebody like that. This is what I already know, you
Exactly.
know. And I have always been one of them. that I always stuck out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, always stuck out like a sore thumb. I could be in the middle of a crowd and somehow somebody would spot me and be like, Coco. And I'd be turning around like this. I mean, when I say crowded,
Yeah.
like, who calling me? And then all of a sudden, you see one hand pop up and be like this in the middle of everybody. I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? And it's something when people who you never thought even looked at you like that are now paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you got somebody's attention,
Yeah.
right? So now that you got the attention, sometimes you have to ask yourself,
Do
what
it.
do I
Yeah. What you gonna do with it?
what you gonna do with it, right? So like I tell you, it's just so awesome because some people will never get just that part.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you got their attention, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
Now you gotta show them what you about. But are you ready?
Work. Yeah. Are you prepared?
Right? Are you ready?
What we were saying. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Poor
That's it.
and what? Putting on. You know what I'm saying? Putting on, taking advantage and maximizing the opportunity to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? But
But you have so many people that miss the opportunity.
yeah,
They miss the opportunity with being unprepared.
that's a fact.
And I always tell people, always prepare yourself, always keep something on hand so that you can be like, oh yeah, you said that you wanted to know blah 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 blah, and you can pull it up. Hold on, let me, and you can pull it up to let them see, or keep something on your person, keep something in your car, keep something somewhere where you can always go back and reference and be like, hold on, wait a minute, you said you needed to know, and
Yeah.
you can go and let them flip through. Matter of fact, I got, you know what, you can keep this one, take it with you, and give them something to
Yeah.
to go off of, to be like, I gotta get back in touch with them later on.
Yeah. Don't let them walk away barehanded.
Right. That's right. You don't never let them walk away empty-handed. There was so many times where I got ready to walk away from somebody and they would stop me right at the, yo, you got a business card? Hold that thought. Sure do.
Yeah.
Go right in the purse and pull it right on out. Like,
Right.
yeah, you can take a couple of them if you need to. I'm gonna be calling you. And they would actually call.
And see that both of them points you just made is relevant to, like, even like I said, you said what advice would I give other guys coming home or whatever. So the next step is strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to be a strategical thinker when you come.
Right.
All the strategy is not just responding, to situations in the moment and being able to, like, maneuver your way through them. But it's more so like in regards to recidivism, it's like starting to put your strategy and your reentry plan together before you come home. You know what I'm saying? Start already anticipating, what type of challenges, what type of obstacles you're gonna face. Because a lot of people plan for everything to go right, but nobody plans to go wrong. You know what I'm saying? So when you sitting in there in that cell, or you've been sitting there for a while, you've been conjuring up all these ideas of how everything gonna play out once your feet touch the ground, and you gonna see Shorty, and then you gonna do this, and then you gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go get a job, like I'm gonna go do this. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get out here and realize it's a process, and that everything requires patience, and you have to move at a certain pace in order to let things kind of fall together, organically and naturally. Then you start getting frustrated. You know what I'm saying? You don't know paint this picture in your mind about how everything gonna play out. But thinking and critically thinking is two totally different things.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
so what would you tell a person on how to, because my biggest thing for me is time.
Yeah.
I can't
It's your
stand
great.
to waste time.
Yeah,
It's wasting time is a problem for me.
that's a fact.
You know what I mean? So if how would you tell somebody, in your opinion,
I
how
mean,
would you tell somebody how to prioritize the time?
just like us, like for me, like you said, time is my greatest asset. So the one thing that I realized that I have complete control over, that is not dependent upon external variables or something somebody else do or the way the sun turns or whatever the case is, I have complete control over the energy that I choose to subject myself to. You know what I
That's
mean?
a good thing.
That's the one most powerful tool that I had. And in regards to strategy, knowing that I will not purposely subject myself to any kind of counterproductive energy. Period. Like anything that's gonna jeopardize or create a situation where I can't execute my goals or I can't provide, protect, and preserve my why, I don't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it comes attached to people that I love, even if it comes attached to people that I grew up with,
I get it.
attached
Right.
to people that could put me in position and give me a better opportunity. Like I'm always I'm just like I said, I know my why. Like I'm locked into it. I understand it. So I process all my decisions through that. So even when I'm making my strategy, a lot of my strategy is based around obviously I have financial strategy. I have a lot of different things that I can get into. But primarily my biggest strategy is my social strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been practicing social distancing way before COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Way before COVID. And it was uncomfortable a lot of times because I love a lot of people, but there's some people that I love that just for whatever reason I can't occupy the same space they do because we have different priorities. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that ain't no love lost. I always love them. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm in a situation where I can help them, I'm definitely gonna help them. But outside of that, they say self-preservation is the first rule of life. Now, a lot
Yeah.
of people misconstrue self-preservation and make it something selfish and self-centered, but that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You
Because
can't,
to me, my piece is important.
you can't. My philosophy is you cannot put a price on a peace of mind. You,
No,
let
my
me
my piece is
say it.
very important.
You cannot put a price on a peace of mind. That's where you can go offer me a check, but if that
Right.
check come with too many problems or something that's going, you know what I'm saying,
That part.
peace, you can keep that. I'll be
That
regular.
part. That part. I like I tell everybody, some things that sound too good to be true are. And at the end of the day, all money ain't good money. You know what I mean? And trust me, I've had it offered 500 ways to Sunday. But when you read, especially when it comes down to contracts and deals and stuff like that, certain things just ain't for me. You know what I mean? That's not my deal. That's not my stilo. I can't do that. I'm not gonna compromise myself for that. None of this stuff. Because then when you start trying to make me undo my integrity to do something for you, we
No,
got a whole problem. We got
exactly.
a whole problem. So to keep me from feeling like I gotta come out of my character towards you, I'm gonna just say no. I'm
Yeah,
gonna just pass on that deal.
stay away from me. All of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just keep you at bay.
That's it. That's it. So it's something like like I said, we were sitting here talking about um we were sitting here talking about the connections, right? So like all last year I was getting connected to all types of people. And I would be like, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and I see what you're not doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said so, I said that around somebody. They was like, "What you mean?" I said, "Because all connections ain't good connections, baby."
The
I
fact.
said, some folks want to be connected for the wrong reason. They
Mm,
got agendas of their own that I just don't get down with, you
deep.
know. And I was like, so at the end of the day, all connections ain't good connections. I love people, I love everybody, but you're not my connection. You first of you're not part of my season right now. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Maybe later on down the line, but right now, no. Because you got some things that you got to work out, and
yeah,
that's just not for me.
that's a fact though. You
You
gotta
know,
size your piece for real.
right? And so for me, um, hold on, I got some people. I think I got some people who want to come on to talk to you. Wait a minute. Uh, let's see. If you like. All right. So anybody that is watching right now, y'all already know. Feel free to drop the comments in the comment section. Any questions y'all got for him about what he does, what he's doing, put them in the comment section. I will post them up on the screen so he can see them, or I will verbally ask him for you. Y'all already know how we do. So with that being said, I see that our station owner is down here in the bottom. Are you coming up, Fred?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for him? Okay. Now you know I see your lips moving, but nothing coming. What we doing? Put it in the private chat, man. Okay. All right. If you got questions, you already know what to do. So, with that being said, what I understand is that you do a lot,
Yeah.
right? It's more than just you helping people get back into society, more than you being that number one go-to guy that if I got this going on and I'm dealing with parts of addiction that I know that you can help me work myself through it. You got the book that you have done. You got so many hats that you wear. With all of that being done, besides you coming out and you having your why, what was when did you figure out that this was the purpose?
Uh, I think I found out what my purpose was um within the realms of regret and purgatory, right? Because
Okay.
I came out of jail. Like I said, I'm not too far removed from standing on street corners. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing at podiums. You know what I'm saying? I'm in front of people that, what I'm saying, I never would have thought that I would even be in front of. And they actually, gravitating to my influence or whatever the case is. But in the process of that, it comes with a lot of responsibilities and it comes with a steep learning curve to learn how to be, an effective servant leader. You can have the intentions, but the know-how you can only
Right.
be involved in the actual process. So when I was in that process, I felt, I dealt with depression. I dealt with a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a big burden to carry, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To carry, you know what I'm saying? To try to be everything that I want to be for everybody, you know what I'm saying? I didn't prioritize self care. I didn't, take the necessary time to put the same type of, concern and care back into myself as I did everybody else, you know what I'm saying? So that became a problem that created issues with me and my loved ones and the people that was close to me, you know what I'm saying? And it also it put me on a direct crash course with the reality of politics, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just coming in with, practical ambition and practical, initiatives to try to create solutions and change. And I'm not, I'm used to the street politics, but I don't know about all these politics. I'm just coming into it trying to do the right thing, not understanding that even within these realms of leadership or community organizing or whatever the case is, that there's still a lot of corrupt politics that's involved. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of took a toll on me. And then there's some more specific examples. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get into all of that, but uh, just that experience of like it goes back to that opportunity thing, right? And then excelling into a space of responsibility and obligation that's way beyond anything that I ever knew, and then having to learn things on the fly that I wasn't necessarily aware of because I was, I was not that far removed from being in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So, um, when I seen how dope in retrospect, when I seen how some of those things played out, how certain individuals revealed their hand to me, how certain people that I thought was good people turned out to be bad people, and what I'm saying, and to see my allies become my enemies, and see people become snakes, and it was just for me, it was like wow, like this ain't what I. You know what I'm saying? This ain't why I came into this for. I didn't anticipate all of this. But then once I was actually in it, you know what I'm saying, I found that I found myself trying to respond um to everything that everybody had to say in regards to what I was doing and how I chose to do it and who I chose to do it with, and everybody had an opinion and everybody was a naysayer, and then there was a lot of relevant, what I'm saying, history that that could that could lend to them having a point. But at the same time, like me, I know my integrity. So That's all that mattered. But anyway, going through all of that and then leaving, I left. Um, I took a job in Charlotte, right? And I always wanted to live in Charlotte. Like I thought, like I'm a city boy. I want to go to Charlotte. Like I'm a Panthers fan. It's just supposed to be right. But anyway, I went up to Charlotte. I found a little, speaking gigs and this, that, and the third or whatever. But eventually, probably a couple of years into that particular transition, I ended up taking a job out in Iowa. Like, yeah. So So it was crazy. Everybody's like, "Yo, you going?" I felt like on Minister Society when when Sharif and them was about to leave, and they was like, "You going to Kansas?" Like,
Right.
so I went out. I went out to Iowa, and it was everything I expected it to be. The cow and tornadoes. So anyway, while I was out there, I was working in the high schools, and there's only one. Well, I ain't gonna say there's one, but there's one prominent civil rights hub, because I was predominantly white. It's like 90 something like that. So the enclaves of African Americans are slim, but actually in Waterloo, I went out there and was working with I was in charge to go out to the high schools across the state and internships and professional shadowing and jobs and stuff like that for teenagers that were seniors and coming out. So anyway, when I found out like the history of what was going on in Waterloo and Iowa, it reminded me a lot of Wilmington. Just in regards to the history that's here or whatever, and some of the challenges that we face because of the shift in the political and social landscape out after like 1898 and all that. You know what I'm saying? So that still runs relevant here, in the city or whatever the case is. When I experienced their history out there, seeing what they was going through, I went back to my supervisors and I'm like, yo, why we not doing more out there? You know what I'm saying? Because y'all got me across this whole state, and I'm going to most of these hubs that's predominantly European, and then so I'm seeing them, but I'm like, why y'all not doing enough out here? But the real thing that I came away with was the fact that when I was seeing rural poverty within that setting, out there, I could even find, the resemblance and the quality of poverty. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's on all sides. So I seen this and I'm like, damn, like they got meth heads and you know what I'm saying? And I say that loose going like the, I'm people with my language, so I'm saying meth heads only in the regards of that's how people might identify what I'm talking about. But their drug of choice out there was crystal meth and and the pills and things of that nature. But I'm looking at the poverty. I'm looking at how bad it look. I'm looking at the different social dynamics with the family and all that, and that's dawned on me. And I was like, "Yo, you don't belong out here."
So
Nah, for
how
real.
long did you actually stay?
About I was there like I think almost 6 months, something like that.
Oh, okay, so you wasn't that long.
I was long enough to know what time to go. Listen, you can have all the passion, but you can't say the word. It ain't
You right. You
some
right.
places is specific to certain people. Some people for that particular place.
You right.
Yeah,
Okay. It just made me laugh because I had to sit there and think about it. Like, yeah, you sending me to Timbuktu, and this ain't gonna work out for me.
I remember one time I had to because I had to drive like 3 from the Des Moines out into whatever little town they're gonna send me. But in between Des Moines and wherever else you're going, it ain't nothing out there. It's just straight highway or whatever the case is. And I mean every time I look at a cloud, I swear it's about to be a tornado. It's crazy, yo. And I remember my GPS don't work like that out there. So
Oh God.
I'm all the way in Iowa. I don't know nobody here. I'm in the country. my GPS don't work. I'm turning down roads, like pulling up the old bump and all that. And I was trying to get some direction, but ain't no stores out there. So I seen a store. I pulled up at the store, but the store, like, is the store open? Cause I don't see nobody. Like, it's quiet. Like, you don't get a lot of service, I guess.
Right.
So I hop out the car. Well, next thing you know, I seen this man come around from the back of the store, had on you can't even make this up, had on overalls and a little straw in his mouth and all that. And he said, you lost, boy? I said, yes. I got right. I got back in that car. I said, I'll figure it out. And then maybe like 2 weeks after that, a tornado hit, and I was in the crib, and it was like, yeah. And I ain't never heard, like, I heard it on the movies and all. We from the coast, baby. We tropical. You know what I'm saying? We do
It sounds like a train coming
parties.
for real.
Hey, yo, we do hurricane parties. When we were young and all that. We weren't scared of no hurricanes like that. But a tornado, that thing say, yeah. Come to find out, next day it hit like the exit down the street and destroyed the entire little neighborhood or whatever. So then I was like, yeah, I'm about to go back to North Carolina. But I
Yeah.
say like that experience and some of what happened when I came back just reiterated to me what my purpose was. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to like redefine what my purpose is. I almost try to run from my purpose in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I just wanted to purge away from all the toxic behavior and all the backbiting and all the BS and all that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to just purge because, again, like we said, I got to protect my peace,
Hey,
right?
mommy. Say hello to my mama. She in the chat text.
Hey, mom, how you doing? But yeah, so in the midst of traveling out to the white people of Wakanda, I'm sorry, just that's the greatest analogy I could make for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, out there I realized like, yo, man, God done gave you a call and God put an anointing on you. It started, you know, from the lips and the heart of your grandparents and your elders in your community. You have an obligation to go back and continue to do, what I'm saying, what I put you in position and what I put you here to do. So that's when I figured out getting outside of because I was in between North Carolina, South Carolina, but going like really and staying out there in a whole different atmosphere really like push me back in the direction of continuing to follow my purpose.
So where are you? Are you in Jacksonville or are you where you at now?
I'm in the port city.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. Been
All
back.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
I mean,
everything from pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Ain't
okay.
by myself, you know what I'm saying? It's a group of my closest, you know what I'm saying, confidants and brothers that I respect and fellow recidivism survivors, you know what I'm saying, and specific um niche pocket in regards to the way that we coach and that we encourage and stuff like that. So me, I'm big on education, you know what I'm saying, and trying to empower, encourage people to pursue their education or not to squander away their education or to maximize their education because that particular route that I chose when I got out. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be one of the first people in my family to graduate from college. I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, um, I didn't even have a GED at that particular time when I came out and I was on this mission. And that goes back to the process again, right? Because remember I told you when I got out, I was volunteering, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I was working for free, and then in my downtime, I used to go like to the basic skills, Little Joan up at Cape Fear, whatever, and I kept taking the test, and I kept failing it. You know what I'm saying? Like the math portion though, because when I went to take my GED test, my mom's always instilled in me literacy, so I always been an avid reader since I was a kid. Like
Right.
the kids was reading like Green Eggs and Ham, I was reading like the Holocaust and all, like you know what I'm saying, like
Right.
that type of time. Like, so I always just like been like very intentional about being self-educated and then being in the school to prison pipeline and having
Right.
navigate the self-fulfilling prophecies of my teachers and them telling me because I'm from a certain place, my destiny is this, that, and the third, or whatever the case is. I couldn't rely on them to teach me, so I had to teach myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but that goes back to what we was talking about. Like when people speak things on you, and it's not everybody, but you know that you got them ones that speak that negative stuff on you, and then when you get that one person, and all it takes is one that come to you and they positive about what you're trying to do, and they like, look, you could overcome anything. You don't have to be what people said that you were.
Yeah,
Go out there and go after what you're trying to do. When you got that one that'll do that, it changes the aspects of everything.
yeah, that happened to me. Like actually, like you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I was down there taking them tests. I kept failing them. In the meantime, I'm coming out. Remember, I said you got all the ideas about what you're gonna do, how things gonna fall in place. I'm recently married. I'm responsible for kids. Like you know what I'm saying. I know that I can't find a job. I'm not getting paid nothing. You know what I'm saying? My old lady working at the time, she like, baby, it's gonna be all right. I'm like, nah, cause all I gotta do is pick up the phone, call the plug, call my people, get a pistol. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing. Like I don't have to be, you know what I'm saying, broke. I don't have to be messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm carrying all of that in addition to going down here and trying to do the right thing with pursuing my education. But I'm this close, but I keep failing because the reason I'm failing is because I done walked in the GED place, passed all four parts of the test with the exception of math.
Right.
Math ain't one of them subjects where you can take 15, 20 years off and then come back and
Come back and try to figure it out.
algebra.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they speaking Chinese. I'm like, I need this to pass. Like, this ain't make sense. I ain't even gonna use this in real life. They like, nah, that's the protocol. So now I'm at with that. I keep failing the test and whatnot. So this particular day when I failed the test, I'm like, yo, if I fail the test this time, I'm going back to do what I know how to do. I'm not going to keep continuing on this path of a pipe dream. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be doing something to get some money. I got to take care of my family. I got to da 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 da. You
Are
know
you
what
able to
I
see
mean?
that?
Huh? Was I able? Yeah.
No,
What?
are you able to see what's on the screen?
Mindset cause your success to come. That's a fact, though. Wait.
That's my mama that said that.
Hey, mama. Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And like I said, it's different for everybody, but I'm so glad that you brought that up. Like you have so much that people would say um that would have discouraged you. You got somebody that probably would have ended up coming to you and said, okay, so what you keep going back for?
Yeah.
You can't pass, so what you keep going back for? You know how people
Would have
do.
that too.
See, and that's what I'm saying. You know how people do, and that's the sad part. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, some people just get on your nerves. You just be like, ah,
He said, I'm reading what he said.
yeah, you see it.
Yeah, I see. That's a very layered question. Um, that's a great question. Oh,
Yeah.
all I can do is speak to myself. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying. What I can't speak for everybody because I honestly, I that's a very high hurdle um to get over just with everything that's against us. You know what I'm saying? Everything that has been systematically designed because of most of the oppression and primarily all the oppression and everything else that we deal with has been systematically created. I mean, it's a historical fact. So it's going to take a systematic approach to changing the things that keep us oppressed in order, you know what I'm saying, for us to really generate any sustainable success in regards to that. Because, like, just us coming together collectively, you know what I'm saying, would be a start in the right direction. But just look at that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
soon as you get in position to start doing some things that can be beneficial to other people, then that's the same moment you got somebody else stepping up and got something to say, and trying to dictate to you how you supposed to do this or how you supposed to do that. But instead of having all of that divisive language, they should just be trying to bring you together and encourage you to all on the same blade, on the same page, and represent the same, solution. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. And I think, again, that's because we have been systematically divided, you know what I'm saying? And the system plays off of those, divisions. And it really just starts with the individual at that point. Like, me, I could do everything, in my power, to be the best brother that I possibly can, to be the best man I possibly can. But I'm only responsible for how I treat people, not how they respond to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right.
Yeah,
You're not responsible for the response.
I'm not, and that's
You,
the biggest hurdle a lot of times because we just can't come together collectively. It's nothing that we can do as individuals that's going to completely promote the solution to our cultural issues. It has to come from a collective. You know what I'm saying? Because we all can gain progression our own individual ways. You know what I'm saying? Some of us can afford to remove ourselves from some of the same issues and problems that others are facing. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't really knock people for doing that either because, that's a part that's a part of the plan when you in the
right.
government trying to get out. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what would you say to my audience of men
Okay.
that are watching? So what would you say to them in order to give them that push or that nudge to get back into their rightful places?
To get back into what?
Their rightful places.
Their rightful place. Um, I could just say that start with God. You know what I mean? Because for me to try to come up here and conjure up an answer to that question, I have to start with God because really I mean, as much as I want to believe, I know I don't have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? And being okay with that allows me to pray for guidance. It allows me to ask for discernment. It allows me to make myself vulnerable and humble enough in order to stay out of my ego and stay closer to God. But the ego is the enemy. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
ego is if I could say anything, I would say, man, just be conscious of your ego. You know what I'm saying? Know how to check your ego, know how to acknowledge your ego, know how to identify your ego. You know what I'm saying? Because the ego is the equivalent to the ghost and demon that's hovering over your shoulder every day. You know what I'm saying? I was just telling somebody earlier, I was like, yo, nobody can't trick me off the streets with crime. Like, I'm not doing crime. I'm not doing no dirt. I'm so far removed from that. Like, it don't even make sense to me no more. Like, it's so much money out here that you can do without having to look over your shoulder and
That part.
that stuff don't even excite me no more. I be concerned about like, yo, don't allow your ego to respond to everything and everybody because some people don't got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't got nothing to lose, or some people live vicariously through their own misery, so they
Right.
don't see other people happy. It's a lot of different reasons, but I just know for me at where I'm at now, like my ego being centered and grounded and understanding how to check my ego and not to put myself in situations where because if you lead with ego, people gonna respond with ego, right? So
There you go.
don't put myself in spaces and situations with individuals that's going to lead with ego or invoke my ego because then I might make a rational decision, rooted in my ego that could jeopardize not just my freedom, but, my life, my wife, my mother, my kids, my grandkids, my brother, the work God has left for me, the people that He has me divinely assigned to. Like all of that stuff matters. So for me, I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know. I could just say for me it's ego because I know personally, like as somebody that's transitioning from the streets, you know what I'm saying, into the space God has me now. I can't do it by myself. and I know it's something higher than me. It's got to be
Come
something
on now.
more higher than me and more powerful than me. And I done did it. I done did everything. I done belong to different religions and walks of life, and all of that. But I can get philosophical with the wisest scholars or orators. But then for me, it's like most profound wisdom that I ever received came from my great grandmama. And the only thing she said before I walked out the door to do whatever I was going out there to do, which God knows what that was, baby, Grandma Mamie said, that baby, hold on to Jesus.
Always.
I was
It's
like,
always grandma.
I was like, hey, grandma, same thing every time. You need it. Grandma need a new, she need a new pitch, right? She say, but then I go, I'll be in the room with the keywords of syllables and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So, but the times when I had a gun pointed at my head, or when I did something to somebody and they could have, checked out of here, whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? Or, I got a car accident and the car flipped 16, 17 times, or, sniffing some powder and felt my heart about to bust out my chest, or, just all of them times. I just remember whenever I ran out of answers, I had an answer no.
Always go back. Yes.
First thing came out of my mouth was Jesus help.
It is that every time though. I
So
mean,
it's
I
gonna
think that
sound
people
crazy.
really forget. Go ahead.
I was saying it's gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound religious. For me personally, that's what it is. Start with God, man. Like, humble yourself and know that God is above you. He's within you and He's with you, but He's also
All
above
the time.
you or beneath Him. You know what I'm saying?
I,
So,
I think you gave an awesome answer to that first and foremost. So I hope that to all of my fellas that are watching, that y'all caught that. I have the biggest thing where, I like to speak into the life of the men coming from a woman's standpoint,
mm,
because a lot of times the men are bashed by,
yeah, that's a
you know
fact.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me is don't bash them because they get it from everywhere else.
Hmm.
You gotta flip the script and be like, hold on, wait a minute. I need you to step up like the king that you are, sir. I
Yeah.
don't care what they said over there, but over here, this is what you are. Go past that. You know what I mean? You bigger than that. You bigger than your situation. I know what it looked like, but don't let what it looked like fool you, because it's just right now. This is a layover.
Well, see, that's important because, like, just going back to the original point, like, I'm never one of them people that ascribe to this concept of being self-made. That's ridiculous. Like, ain't nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody, like the commercials say, everybody needs somebody sometime. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, my woman, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of what you just said, as far as
Yeah.
speaking life into, your man or whatever the case is, like, yo, my wife, when I was going through struggles with, you know, I go get guns and come back to the house and sit the gun on the dang on bed like it was my middle school outfit on the first day. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the gun like, man, I need to do something. I need to do something. Come on. I'm getting dope and then flushing it down the toilet because I'm trying to fight the urge to get out there and do something. That woman would come to me and she'd be like, you greater than what you think you are. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
You're worth more than doing what you think that only you can do, yada yada yada, whatever the case is. And she was very very diligent about like the times when I wanted to go back to the streets. She pleaded with me. She stated her case. I wanted to make her get to the point where she would just be like, okay, do what you got to do. It didn't work. Like,
Mhm,
going for it, like she
mhm.
whatever her conviction was in regards to the purpose that God was revealing in her eyes through prophecy, for me, she seen it even clearer than I did. You know what I'm saying? And she poured into me the same way you was speaking to it, and I had to give her, a boat and a lot of credit. You know what I'm saying, for my ability to stay focused and free, because she never made me feel bad. Like I had got some jobs that weren't the greatest of jobs, and obviously I didn't like the concept and idea of having to start off with wages in my mind or whatever. I didn't know about the process. I just thought I'm supposed to get out here. Somebody's supposed to give me $18 or $20 just because I'm willing to work for them. You know what I'm saying? So I had jobs where my mind wasn't right. I cussed the people out or got into it with coworkers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have a job no more. I quit a lot, you know what I'm saying? I got fired from some. Then when I came home, she said it's all right. We'll get them tomorrow.
Like I said, I'm putting the stuff up on the screen, so I'm hoping you can see it. So what people are saying to you.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact. It take a village to do more than just raise a child. Yeah, you right, mom. You know,
Right.
mama know. Know. Mama one of them she rolls.
That she is, I can guarantee you.
I already know. Oh, yeah, she. That's that why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why, but she dealt with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just to navigate and have patience with the maturation of my mindset. Because where I am today, I definitely won't. 10 years ago, and I won't even where I am now. Probably 2 weeks ago. No, I'm just playing. But 2 years ago or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I learned something new. So, yeah, but
I
she.
mean, it's just awesome. Like for real, for real. Just to know the little bit that I do know, and to be able to have this conversation, because I call it a conversation. I don't even call it an interview, because
You,
that's what I titled the show, is Conversations with Jamir. You know what I mean? I call it to have this conversation with you, in hopes that a young man is listening, young woman even is listening, that can understand you can go past it. Like that's the biggest, you can go past it. If you can see the bigger picture. I think a lot of times where we fall short is we can't see past this. This is all people look at right here. If
yeah,
they can't see past this, they don't go further than that.
that's a
My way of looking at stuff is I always think about, if I do this right now, what's going to be the bigger outcome. That's
yeah,
my way of thinking. You know
mm,
what I mean? If I do this, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
yeah.
You
Intention,
know,
action, outcome.
right?
Yeah,
And that's the biggest thing for me. Right there is, I just want to make sure that the outcome and who is going to affect down the line.
mm-hmm.
I know that, yeah, it got to affect right now, and the effect to me look good, sound good, but down the line it may not be so.
That's a
You
fact.
know,
You
and
got
that's one of the biggest things that I always drill into myself. Like, take a picture, think about it.
that's
And
a
she
fact.
said, we are raising nations. Thank you. My son is the same way, and he is learning daily. That's what mommy said.
Indeed, mom. I
And
like.
then this is coming from the co-host. Um, Sometimes it takes someone that wants nothing from you, and the only thing they want from you is to see you win.
That's a fact.
That's it. Because I mean, every day you don't always find people or run into people that's all they want. Like for me, that's my thing. I don't want nothing from you. All
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do is drop nuggets from folks. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't reach out, Jamir, I need da da da. No, that was never my thing. Look, I'm asking you, can you come on to share
Right.
what you about, so it could help somebody else down the line?
But see,
And that's
man, I told you, I'm a fan, and I respect the integrity of the intentions and the content that y'all been putting out. And I listen to the conversations. I listen to the topics. I like the way y'all approach the conversation. I like, what I'm saying? I like the transparency and I like the authenticity, you know what I'm saying? And you standing on what you believe in the face of, because let's be honest, like when you start talking about faith and things of that nature, that's not always the most popular narrative or the popular conversation in
right.
today's. So for y'all to stand on, stand on the principles of the platform that that you're trying to put before the people with what you're trying to say and how you saying it. Like I'd much rather come up here and come on a lot of different shows, even if I had the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that our intentions and the integrity of those intentions is in line. So again, I appreciate you bringing it up, man.
And I appreciate you. You don't have no idea. I'm trying to tell you, you have said some awesome stuff up here tonight, and I'm great, very grateful for what you have came on and said. So my mama says we have to know that what has happened in our lives is temporary, and people are in your life to alter your present to push you into your now and your future. Right, mama?
That's that. Let me tell you how real that is, right? So when you said when did I figure out I had a purpose, and I told you it happened after the whatever. So that was like part of the process. But one of the biggest things that happened to me is I had a mind altering encounter with a drug counselor the last time I was incarcerated, right? And I actually was able to kind of like finesse my way into the situation because I had a paid lawyer. So anybody that's been in the streets that ever hustled or whatever, like if you get an opportunity through your lawyer to work your magic and make yourself look like the addict versus the dealer, you know what I'm saying? And that the statues and the time gonna be lighter than that. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that's possession with intent to sell and deliver, yada yada yada. So
Right,
my lawyer was able to put me in a position where I can go to an alternative sentencing program, um, for as a quote unquote recovering addict, and
right,
I went into it like, ha, got over on y'all. You know what I'm saying? But when I went into the program and had this mind altering encounter with this individual named Anthony Barnhart. He was a drug counselor. He wore these little Bill Cosby sweaters, and one leg like it was longer than the other. And one day we was in the classroom or whatever, and he presented um, this hypothetical situation where we find out that our girlfriend was messing around with our best friend. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, how would y'all respond? So all of us, what I'm saying, we hooting and high fiving, and what I mean, we done slandered and slayed the imaginary traitors, you know what I'm saying? So um, everybody answer is pretty much in unison because people was like, yo, I kill her, I kill him, I do whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he looked at me and the rest of the class over his glasses, and he looked at us like we had to be the biggest idiots he ever stood in front of. And then he went on to go up to the board and he wrote this equation: I over E times A equals S. And what that meant was intellect over emotion times action
uh-huh.
S, right? So that just, he's like, man, if you would have been exercising intelligence over emotion, then you would have understood. And this wasn't even nothing super profound. This is really just common sense. But this is how crazy the streets and ego and I, erratic emotional landscape had us feeling. So he was like, yo, if you would have been practicing emotional intelligence, then you understand that even if you do something to her, she's still gonna be out here, doing what she do anyway. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
And plus, you're not looking at how you're gonna have, a ripple effect on this person's family, his kids, and your community, and all of this. So what Mama just said is real because when that man came in my life and dropped them gems on me like that, he changed the trajectory of my perception. Like from there, I went back in my room and started introspecting it, and I was like, man, I gotta get it together. You know what I'm saying? And every single
Right.
it's been
But
on.
it one of the biggest things that I always make sure I say to people is that first of all, don't ever do anything when you're emotional
That's a fact.
because you will make a lifelong decision with your emotions over something that's supposed to be temporary.
Yeah,
And a lot of people don't understand that. My way of thinking ain't like everybody else's way of thinking. And some people be like, you just so deep all the time. It's not that I'm so deep, it's just this my way of thinking. I don't think about just what's in front of me. I think about the trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I know I have assignments.
That's a fact.
My assignments are people. My assignments ain't always what I'm doing career wise, but most of my assignments are people related. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I know that what I do can affect my assignments. And I don't want to do that to them
No.
because that's not fair to
Yeah.
them. Right? So that's like my biggest thing is that you can't come and you can't think out of your emotions all the time. And first of all, I don't like to do nothing when I'm emotional. When I'm emotional, I tell people to leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me deal, and
Yeah.
I'll come back to you.
But
Just let me deal.
man, like, well, I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna just say, man, I'm gonna say, like, for me, it was more or less like, I didn't even really understand what emotions look like. So I just kind of looked at it like I didn't even realize that what people considered emotions was emotions, right? So I just looked at it like emotions for me was just temporary thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And then I've been socialized and I've been socialized to have feelings but not to feel nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So it wasn't until after the encounter that I had with him and I went and started digging deep. I'm like, oh, so you mean to tell me like, you know, anger or resentment or all these different things that I could equate to being specific emotions that I've never even recognized or even, label or put in the same category of emotion. So now it's like opening up everything now. So I'm like, oh, bruh, I'm like, I'm able to connect specific emotions or the lack of emotional intelligence with my errors and mistakes. Like I'm able to go back in
that
retrospect.
part.
Oh, that's why I did that because, I was resentful at my pops, but I didn't even recognize that as being an emotion because I've been socialized to suppress
Right,
anything that would that I felt or I felt other people felt would paint me in the light of being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Or doing anything that I felt like could be deemed as being a weaker version of myself. You know what I'm saying? And then based on
right,
and being, what I'm saying, stuck in survival mode and all of that, just never really like I couldn't make practical sense of like what you were saying. I couldn't do that because I just emotionally I was out of whack. Like I really just didn't understand how to deal with that stuff, how to manage it. You know what I'm saying? But met him and started really getting to the bottom of it and making myself more vulnerable and more open to being receptive. You know what I'm saying? To even acknowledging that I got emotion. You know,
right.
thing just helped me maturing as a man and taking the next level of maturity as a man. You know what I'm saying? But it also helped me, acknowledge and deal with my own issues in regards to mental health or, spiritual transformation.
Okay, you got some people that's asking questions. So let's start with this right here first. She said, never do anything when you are in the heat of moments because moments change. How we respond can cause a lot of problems.
That's a fact.
And that's a true statement. And then she said this question. How would you minister to a young man who feels abandoned or rejected by the father figures in their life?
um, let's put it like this. I didn't have no father figure in my life. You know what I'm saying? And there were other individuals that ministered to me, and a lot of those individuals I didn't necessarily gravitate to because I felt like they didn't understand my specific experience. Um, and a lot of times I feel like my mom, she kind of like was was being reactionary to the circumstance. So she would just try to go out of her way to find people to play that role in my life. You know what I'm saying? And by doing that, it was kind of like a build-a-bear almost, because she had to go out and try to get multiple individuals just to build one particular positive role model in my life. And then she never really asked me what I wanted, you know what I'm saying? Or if I even wanted to, be around them individuals. You know what I'm saying? So for me, if I minister to any young man, the first thing I want to find out is, you know what I'm saying, how does the absence of your father make you feel? You know what I'm saying?
Good question.
Yeah, how does it make you feel? You know what I'm saying? Not how it make your mama feel, not how it make, your grandmama feel or whatever the case is. How does it make you feel? And I think creating that understanding first and foremost is imperative, because, just me ministering to him specifically, he don't know me. You know what I'm saying? He don't know me. I'm trying to get to know him, but I need to find out how that makes him feel. Because what I find a lot of times is that, especially young men, it goes back to what I was just discussing. They don't want to be vulnerable, and they don't want to open up and even acknowledge the fact that, they having quote unquote daddy issues or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to speak to that, because
Right.
they've been in a position where they've socialized themselves to become the same father that they seeking. You know what I'm saying? So now they become the man. They become the man of the house. So for me, the first thing I want to do when I'm ministering to any young man is just to meet them where they at, find out how does it make them feel, and instead of trying to tell them how they should feel, I just try to take how they say they feel and use it as a means to show them other options on how to process the way they feel. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Because I think it's very important. Like for me, I've learned like the difference between like coaching and counseling is that a counselor is typically going to sit down, tell you everything that's wrong, and then give you all solutions. You know what I'm saying? A coach's job is to help you cultivate different perspectives and understandings, and then to help you come up with your own options. You know what I'm saying? And then lead you in the direction of choosing what you feel like is most beneficial for you. So with a young man who's having them kind of issues, first I'm gonna figure out why he feel like that, and then I'm gonna help him figure out, okay, if your father was around, then you know, if ideally if you could paint that picture yourself, what would it look like? What is it that you feel that you're missing from your father's presence? And how does that look to you? What would suffice, whatever it is you desire in regards to his presence. And once I figure that out, then I would try to see like, okay, is there a possibility for this young man to, to continue or strengthen his relationship with his father? And a lot of times, what I find is not. Like, it's not because of just the circumstances or whatever the case is, or maybe it's the parents can't come on the same accord or whatever. So now you have to start asking yourself, okay, so how can we create a positive supplement for those voids and those spaces that, he's unable to fill because his father ain't around? So then I get on my build a bear. You know what I'm saying? So I start pushing. I would encourage him to push himself in the direction of other individuals who fit that same mold of the things that he feels like his father leaves behind. And that's where the other, gentlemen in the community and the brothers and that's where we have to step up, because there ain't no real dead set answer. Because when you're dealing with somebody like that, the worst thing outside of a absent father is a father that's present that's absent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a big void to fill, and it ain't one pastor, it ain't one preacher, it ain't one, it ain't one football coach, it ain't one, teacher that's going to completely fulfill that void and be able to take that hurt away from that child. But what they can do is collectively come together and play a part, in filling those voids. But you first have to recognize exactly what those are. You can't really assume that because it's him that feel like that.
Yes. I so love the answer. So does my mom. She said, I love the way you put that hashtag build a bear. Then she said, awesome answer to the question. Love you for that. And then she said that she has another question. She said, do you feel like a male is a punk for crying about this issue?
Crying about daddy issues.
Yeah.
Nah, I definitely don't think that. You know what I'm saying? But again, um, that's my understanding from where I am now. You know, mentally and emotionally. But there was a time when again, when I felt like crying was a means of showing weakness. You know what I'm saying? And like even now, I like it's crazy because like if you sometimes for me it's like an analogy of a tiger, right? One of the biggest things that I feared was being taken out of the environment, losing my instincts, losing my, will to respond to the demands of my environment. And that come with culture, that come with peer pressure, that come with expectation. You know what I'm saying? So I always feel like if I stepped away from, doing the wrong thing and started doing the right thing, or somebody put me in that position, I'd be the equivalent of taking a tiger out the jungle and then sticking him in the zoo. You know what I'm saying? And telling them, hey, you could be, you could be good here at the zoo too. And then eventually they come in for whatever reason, they take me out the zoo and put me back in the jungle. And now I'm out there without the ability to instinctively respond to everything that calls for. And the same thing can be said for a young kid that doesn't want to cry or does cry, and other people are ridiculing him for crying about the situation. What happens is if they laugh at him while he's crying, then eventually it's going to desensitize him. You know what I'm saying? Eventually he's gonna start naturally wanting to respond to the demands of his environment the appropriate way, or what they deem as the appropriate way, which would be suppress your emotions, act like you don't got none, act like you don't care about nothing, act like you desensitized, you don't feel nothing. When somebody say something make you mad, so I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing come, I don't care. But that's a process. You know what I'm saying? They being
Right.
so not to care, and it comes, so no, I don't think that that's uh being a punk or nothing like that. I actually think it takes a real strong man in order, you know what I'm
To
saying,
show his emotions. Yeah.
emotions and still feel comfortable in his own skin. You know what I'm saying? Like if I cry right now, or if I feel emotional, or if I say something, some people might think like saying something sweet to your significant other or something like that in front of your boys or something like that is somehow soft or whatever the case is. But y'all can't cook. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't cook nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I ain't trying to sweet talk y'all. Y'all can't. None of y'all can't cook. Some of y'all, some of y'all ugly.
So I have to ask this question, and you kind of already hit on it a little bit, but I have to ask that now that you are in a father figure role yourself.
That's a fact. I am a father of
Right.
three
That's
amazing.
right. So now that you are in a father figure role yourself, what is the one thing that you as a man say or that you do differently than what you dealt with coming up?
Um, I think for me, like with it's a crazy dynamic. Like how I came into fatherhood, just even beyond just being in a relationship with my wife beforehand. But um, like okay, so for instance, when I was raising my kids, there was a time when early on in my transition, I was still smoking weed. I was still drinking. You know what I'm saying? I was still doing the same thing, a lot of us do for our common pastimes or whatever the case is. But they ain't never seen me do it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't never. I never let them see me do anything like that because it kind of remind me like, how with your grandmama and you be around the barn or something like that, and y'all might be back there smoking or doing whatever you can, but when grandmama come around, you gonna cuff that, you gonna throw it away out of respect. You know what I'm saying? Now
Right.
it ain't that same level of respect. You know what I'm saying? And every era is different. But for me, it was the same thing. Like those values and principles. Like I don't want my kids to see or witness the same things that I witnessed when I was coming up. So don't get me wrong, they ain't slow. Kids be knowing stuff. So they look in the trash can like, oh, he bad, or they'll like, what's that smell coming from? What's this? What's the smell coming from the room or whatever? But they could never physically lay their eyes on what I was doing. So for me, that was like, I'm not saying that I shouldn't have probably been doing it at all, but for me, I was just conscientious of that because I didn't want to do anything that could wrongfully, what I'm saying, push them in the direction of trying to mimic, the worst attributes of myself while I was in the process of developing
Right, right,
time. And that's what I learned. I needed patience with the kids because, trying to get them like, look, you need to do it like this. And my wife would, she'll remind me like, yo, there was a time when nobody couldn't tell you nothing either. So I really emphasize doing a lot of lecturing because I like to talk. So that's one thing I definitely implemented with my kids. I would talk their head off like for
I
hours.
mean, that's a good thing
They
though.
beat. They dead.
That's a good thing. You
Get
got
a
so many
piece of
people that
it.
don't talk to their kids.
That's a fact, though.
I mean, you think about it, when your children will go outside of you to talk to somebody else, they feel like, well, listen, that's a problem.
It really
Like, you
is.
know what I'm saying? I mean, you're grateful for it, especially if they find somebody that's giving them like really good wisdom. But if they just going outside of you to talk to somebody else and the advice ain't good because
Mhm.
they don't feel like they could come to you, that's a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's no, that's not what. That's why you want to make sure that your relationship with your children or anybody really for that matter is like kind of an open door policy. You can come to me and you can talk to me about anything, but I'm going to give you honest, sound advice. Now,
Yeah,
if that's something that you don't want, then I'm not the one you need to come talk to.
yeah. You
You
got
know,
an example though. You got to exemplify the example you try to set. And I
right,
always, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, do as I say, not as I do, you know what I'm saying? Early on, now understanding that even something as subtle as like, I think I'm doing a good gesture by hiding stuff from them, right? But kids ain't stupid, kids ain't slow. And when you trying to install particular values and morals into your children, they taking mental notes. So every time they see you step to the left or out of pocket or whatever the case is, it kind of provides a barrier between what you're trying to tell them and what they need to retain because they're always able to rationalize the reason for not listening to what you're saying based off of something they feel like you did that you stand of. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell my son, like, yo, don't be smoking no weed, boy. You about to mess up, you playing sports, you about to mess up your life. And you know what I'm saying? Not like that, but you understand what I'm saying? Like just telling them
yeah,
like, yo, choose to do this versus that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, early on in my process, there was things that he witnessed because he was slow that kind of made him less receptive, to what I was trying to tell him. So eventually, I understood like my life has to align on all the chords in order for me because being the man of the house is a real live obligation. It's not something that you get just by the title of being a male that lives in the house. You know what I'm
right,
saying? To be the man of the house comes with a whole different level of obligation and responsibility. And if you ain't never been in a household with a man in the house, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Just males in the house, you know what I'm saying? Then you don't might not necessarily have that understanding. So for me, like even fatherhood was like a very steep learning curve because I didn't have, you know what I'm saying, my pops and them around me, you know what I'm saying, helping
Right.
me figure this manhood thing out.
Okay. Okay. And like I said, you've given so many great answers tonight, So my mom said, was it your worst or the plan? So I asked her to explain just in case you didn't understand what she was asking. But so I'm asking her to, Mommy, if you're listening, and I know you are, can you explain that, please? Um, but it's just one of those things where I had to ask that question because you know that once you have something that you did not have, and it's now your turn to be that, how do you deal with it? You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like there's a lot of things that I did not learn from my mom. You know what I
that,
mean? So to come into, and my mama was never married, so to come into the womanhood and become a wife, I didn't have nobody to show me that. Like,
mhm,
you know what I'm saying? That was something that I had to learn, and I knew that I had to be this type of individual to this man.
yeah,
But I had to show this man that, hey, I'm not trying to override you. I'm not going to overstep over here. I'm here to help. I'm here to help, not get on your nerves. And this, right. So that was the thing that I had to learn on my own because I didn't have nobody to teach.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of stuff from the word, of course, and then I took a lot of stuff from watching people in my life that were married do it the wrong way.
Yeah, right.
And to be honest, I'm just being real.
No,
I
that's
mean, I watched a lot of people in my life that were married do it the wrong way, and the stuff that I saw them do to their spouses, and they call themselves married. I always said that I would never do.
yeah. Well, some people not married.
Right, right. You know what I mean? And that's like one of the things for me too. I was just like, y'all married for real, but you bringing this into no, I can't, and that would just be stuff that I would look at, and then when I have those friends that was going out, me as a married person, I really didn't hang out with a lot of single people after I got married,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, your thinking and my mindset ain't the same. I can't go out here and go out with you at night, and when we go out, this is what you're doing, right?
We got different priorities.
Right. I can't go out with you at night, and this is what we doing. And you got somebody in my face because see, you finna make me hurt his feelings, and
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do that. Like so at the end of the day, I'm gonna
Let's
just leave
be
it
honest.
alone.
We go to bed at 9 o'clock anyway.
Man, what you say? Look, like I told you I slept all day Sunday. Okay, look, man, I'm trying to tell you, I don't be
Bitches
playing.
out there in them clubs with your eyes drooping and
Look,
looking
be
like
out there
you
and then
shit.
now the club don't close till like the first of all, last call is at 2:30.
You ain't supposed to show up till 1.
That part.
I want, I want to go at 8 o'clock. They're like, ain't nobody out there. I was like,
Yes.
for an hour anyway. I'm about to go.
Look, and I don't even think people really understand that anymore. I don't do what I used to do when I was younger because it just ain't my thing anymore.
At all.
Now going out, unless I go out to like karaoke or something,
Yeah.
going out kind of bores me
Yeah.
now. Like,
Nah, I really stay.
I'd be like, right, like this is
I
not
like
my thing. I would go say it
yeah,
again.
I like to eat though. Now I like to
There
go.
you go. That part.
Up.
But like club hopping type of stuff.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
No, I would go out to karaoke because I love to laugh at the people now. You got people that'll get up there behind that mic. I know you see the words on the screen and you still can't sing them right. I be dying, like for real.
If I
So
got
yeah,
where I got to holler my conversation, I don't belong there. Like, for real.
right. So I just can't. But I enjoy my karaoke night every once in a blue moon. But
Yeah,
but that still it goes back to say a lot about you as a person. At the end of the day, you can't do the stuff that you used to do because there are now other people involved.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And okay, so my mom said he said his worst, and I was asking, was it the worst of him or the plan of God? That's what she said.
That's a good question. That's a good question. And I probably lean more towards what you said because again, like in retrospect, they say I remember an old man told me he said, hindsight is 20/20, and he said and it's crazy because you get that at 40. I said, I said, I said that makes sense because at 40 when I look back, man, I'm 40, I'm 42 now. I turned 40 and start looking back, and I'm like, even though obviously in retrospect there's things that I wish I could go back and change and decisions that I wish I would have made differently or whatever the case is, I do realize now that where I'm at in life that everything happens, according to the will of God. So
Right.
I feel like we all are given at the beginning of coming into our and finding our destiny that we all given parallel paths, right? And each are ordained, what I'm saying, by God. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you can go the way he wants you to go, or you can go the way you want to go. Um Ultimately you're gonna find your way back to seeking direction to go in the right destination. So both paths might lead to the same destination, but the difference is the type of stuff that you go through um between the two, you know what I'm saying? Because one is you on the path by yourself, and the other
Right.
you with God, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, so I'll say that everything that I've been through, sometimes I chose the wrong path, but everything that I've encountered and God has put in my life or allowed in my life to happen has been, I believe for the divine purpose and the anointing that He placed on me in order to go out and utilize my lived experience, what I'm saying, to help other people. And ultimately, at some point when I get to that point, I'm still striving, really be responsible for bringing souls back in the direction of the kingdom. That's what I really feel like ultimately is my purpose. But since I'm still trying to, reconstruct and shape my flesh the right way, you know what I'm saying, to reflect my spirit, and I'm waiting on Him to decide when He want me to do that.
Awesome. My mama said great. I so appreciate it. So are you still at Chicago Guard?
Shekinah glory, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Please tell Apostle I say hello.
You
I
know,
haven't seen I
um,
haven't seen her in such a long time, but please tell her I said hello.
I sure will. I probably
Yes. I'm,
tell
I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to make me a special trip down there once I do.
that's my
So
that my
I have to come in and visit you guys because it's been such a long time. I haven't seen her now since ooh, maybe 2017 because they had something for her. They had a get together for her at the little building downtown. You know where they used to go play bingo and all that stuff at. You know
yeah.
what I'm talking about? And they had something for her then, and I came to support them for having it, and I surprised her because she didn't think I was gonna come. Um, and I came and I showed up and I had a birthday gift for her and everybody was there. I said, "This is so awesome. I'm so glad they did this for you." And I think that's the last time that I've seen her.
Yeah,
So it would be nice to see her
she
again.
that's another thing I recommend and encourage guys, man. Get you a spiritual advisor. Get
Yes,
that seasoned in the word. Not just no fly by. And that ain't no knock to anybody that come into into their time at any given time. But I'm saying, like, for me, it's just like when I choose a therapist, I go
right.
therapist, I say, listen, I need somebody with at least 30 years experience, 20, 30 years experience, because this is a big onion they got the daggone peel. You know what I'm talking
Right.
about? No young person younger than me and ain't really got no lived experience. I done had to fire a couple therapists,
Oh God.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
right. But get you a spiritual advisor, man. You need somebody seasoned in that word. You need somebody to act anointing on them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, she been doing ministry for 40 years. Like,
Yes, she has. Yes,
uh,
she has.
like her and my aunt Gwen. I don't know if you know my aunt Gwen, but
Yeah.
at Final Refuge, like this, them my guardian angels. So they've been coming to see me when I was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Because they had immediate access to
Right.
visitation because they was ministers. So they
Yeah.
want to see me in jail. They see me at my worst, and now they see me now. But having her in my life is and my aunt too, my aunt Gwen, both of them. You know what I'm saying? Is I can't even explain it. Like, because they know what I'm doing and everything, but they still don't mind. Like our brother threatened to put that belt to me. But she
Look,
is serious too. I love her.
well, I got to please tell them both I said hello. I haven't seen them in such a long time. And I mean it'll be awesome to come down and visit y'all anyway. So yeah, I gotta come visit. It'll be in April sometime because I gotta go see my spiritual mama this weekend. So yes, but I gotta come and visit y'all.
Yeah, love
So
this.
my mom said thank you. She said, God bless you both. Love you. Got to go do homework. This was a great conversation. Thank you,
Yes,
mommy. I'll call you
congratulations.
later.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's right.
But yeah, I'm so excited for my mom because um she said wonderful to meet you. Um
Like,
uh, I'm so excited for her because my mom get ready to graduate from college.
for
So
real.
yeah, she graduates next month. So I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
Uh, went
Keep
back to
me
college.
keep
Went back to college after all these years and she did it. So I'm
yeah.
so
Keep,
happy for her.
keep me up to date with the date that happened.
Oh, I will. I'll
Yeah.
definitely let you
Yeah.
know.
And some
So
flowers.
yes, I appreciate you. Yes, because I'm so happy for her because she finally did it and it's a great accomplishment for her. So
Super,
love
super,
you, mommy. The
super.
one only it's the one and only in her family.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, that's a great example
Yeah,
of resilience. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
A great example of resilience. Shouts
yeah,
out. That's dope.
yeah.
Uh,
So I'm so excited, and she said it was so wonderful to meet you. And I will definitely keep you posted on how she's doing, and when she
yeah,
graduates, I will get the date from her so you'll know. Um, and I understand, Mama, so go do your homework. I'll call you later. But it has been one of those great conversations that we have had tonight. So right before we get ready to get up off of this thing right here, please tell the people, one, how they can find you, two, give them the name of what you do. I already posted your website link, but I'm gonna repost it again before we get off of here because I think it moved up in the comment section. And let us know if you have any type of events coming up.
well, I had one coming up, but it got rescheduled till August. So, yeah, we in the process of putting some things together. But right now, you can follow, whatever we decide to put together in the near future. Here, you can definitely follow us on www.remainresilient.sc.com. That stands for Remain Resilient Speaking and Coaching. Um, you can definitely check us out there. You can check us out on Instagram at too far to fail. That's TOOFARTOFAIL at too far to fail. And you can go on our website. One of the things that we do as a social enterprise is we actually publish um, incarcerated authors. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So individuals that's incarcerated in juvenile detention or jail or prison. We try to do what we can to put them in position to get their first manuscript out. We typically like
Awesome.
one. We don't do a whole lot of them because we covering all the publishing costs. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
they ask for residuals in regards to royalties and all that. We typically take, if we take anything, we take like 10%. But all of the stuff that we do, from our advocacy apparel, which is our little T-shirt line, which pretty much was used as an advocacy tool. It's a reminder um, to stay conscious, to stay positive, but it also covers certain justice reform issues such as mandatory minimums, felon disenfranchisement. So our goal is to allow people to wear awareness towards the goals. And
Please send me the link to that.
definitely will. You can find it on the website. The advocacy apparel is up there. I
Okay.
also music, so that we publish music. We publish socially conscious music though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Change, not change, but I ain't gonna say change in there because everybody's art comes for their reality. But for me, the goal of the music that I do and the individuals that I rock with, you know what I'm saying, is to offer an alternative message and to create social balance within the music culture. You know what I'm saying? So we really speak to utilizing the music as a means to plant seeds in the people head, especially the youth, you know what I'm saying, to continue the conversation like the one we having tonight. So um, when you go
I
to,
so appreciate you.
you gonna hear, you gonna hear real rap, like real reality, struggle music, victorious music, ambitious music, motivational music, things of that nature. We also have a blog, and a blog consists of individuals that's behind the wall, that share their insight, you know what I'm saying, and their talents and things of that nature in order to really speak and deter the youth out here from following in their footsteps. So,
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
and the
Well,
book, uh,
you let any of the fellas or anybody that y'all deal with that's currently incarcerated that's about to get out,
yeah,
tell them to find me.
facts,
Because I would really like to have them on.
yeah,
Um, just so they have a way of being able to share. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So please tell them to hit me up, tell them to find me.
yeah.
Um, and
Make
you have my email
sure that,
address. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to forget. Make sure. If you out there, go to Amazon and get, Cell Therapy: Poetic Reflections of an Innocent Man. That that was the first title that we put out last year. It's actually my nephew, who
Type
is
it in the comment section if you
okay.
can get it. Yeah, type it in the comment section, and
Okay,
then that way we can and I can go get it and link it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and I can pin it in the comments after the show if I have to too.
okay, gotcha. Yeah. So, but make sure y'all go check that out. My book will be dropping maybe could come this summer. It could come at the end of the year. We're working with some different situations as far as distribution and publishing. So, like
Okay.
I could publish it myself, but if I can get it a bigger look and get it in front of the people that we specifically targeting, with it being centered around recidivism, we working with some other entities that have a lot more influence and you know power to put us in position and get the message in front of the right people.
Like I said, you keep me posted. You got my email. Anytime y'all got flyers, any type of events, email them to me, and I'm
Yes.
gonna circulate it. So just let me know, and when I make my announcements, I'll make your announcement with our stuff. So just this way people can know what y'all got going on, because I'm excited for you. I'm really waiting to see exactly where you guys are headed, how big this thing is going to be, because I know it's going to be a lot bigger than what it is right now.
Uh,
um,
it's
and one of the biggest
going through
things,
what I
right?
mean. It's
That's
coming.
part of the game plan, is to go through the motions. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
all a process, but that process is a good process. There's nothing wrong with taking the time to make it right.
that's a fact.
You
But
know,
we are in the process of trying to do a little speaking tour, what I'm saying, up 17 or whatever the case is, like the 17 corridor or whatever. But
okay,
we want to say, like, if you go to our website, if you reach out to us and email us on our email
okay,
at remainresilient.sc.com. We right now we doing a whole lot of pro bono speaking. So if it's an organization or a community event, or you got a group of kids that you're working with or whatever the case is, and
hmm
you want to get me, myself, my brother, my other comrades that's within the fold, who each, if you go on the website, you can see each of them individual stories. They all got powerful testimony, not just.
okay. Well, we are. I have to get with the co-host to find out when she's going to do it. But we are doing a stop the violence event.
Okay.
And it will be great to have y'all there.
Yeah.
I will let you know. I know we're going to do it twice. We're going to do one here, and then we're going to do one that's going to be a little further up north.
Okay.
I have to find out exactly where at up north, because that hasn't been locked in stone just yet. But I know that the one here is going to be right before the summer comes in.
Okay.
So, and I make sure that you have the date so that it doesn't coincide with something else you already got going
No
on.
doubt.
But I'll make sure that you get the dates early so you can put it on your calendar.
Uh,
And it doesn't matter if all of y'all come to speak. You know what
uh,
I mean? All of y'all get, come up and drop your nuggets and do what you do and drop your gems. It don't matter to us. But anything that will help, right,
Yeah,
anything that will help deter the young folk and keep them on track is what we all about. You know,
no,
at the end of the day.
no doubt. Yeah,
So,
we be honored. You know what I'm saying?
like I said, you already know I'll be honored to have y'all there. I'm also having a gala in September. Um,
Oh,
and I'm gonna keep you posted about that. It is formal, so you and your wife gotta come.
yeah,
You
for
know
sure.
what I mean? And I want y'all to come and enjoy yourself. It's gonna be an empowerment thing, like a one night banquet slash conference type of mode. But
Okay.
I promise you, you guys will enjoy. So yeah, we're gonna have a
Hey,
lot of fun.
hey, like,
Huh?
having fun and handling business at the same time.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. So I'm just super excited, and I know that my spiritual parents have some things going on too, with the kids ministry, and I will get with my mom and I will talk to her to see, exactly what we got going on with that too.
No
So
doubt.
I mean, it's a lot coming down the pipe. I don't mind it. I don't mind involving y'all in anything, especially if I know that it's going to make a difference in a young person's life. So I'm
That's
all for it.
we we out here to make a difference more so than make a dollar. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part.
And we
That part.
we,
My motto too.
we don't just want to leave an impression. We want to leave an impact. So, that's why I say, people say, well, how much y'all charge? It just depends. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We won't charge
I
nothing.
mean, anything that consists. Now, my thing, if it's local, I don't have to have nothing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But anything for me, if it consists of me having to,
And you got,
right, anything that consists of me having to travel and like stay over, that might be a little different. But anything that's local,
yeah,
that's neither high nor here for me.
I don't try to charge people in the city.
Right. So that I don't really face too much about. So, and I got some seminar stuff that I'm getting ready to do too, and I can bring y'all in on. So I'm really excited.
We got because we got curriculum and everything too. So we our coaching comes right down that professional development. You know what I'm saying? We got youth deterrence curriculum, all kinds of stuff. So I mean, we can do breakout sessions. We can do all that.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah. Um. So right before I get off, you guys, I told y'all I had some announcements going on down the pipe. I'm definitely gonna keep y'all posted about what Mr. Jamir got going on because I'm so excited to hear the rest and see some other stuff in action. Y'all already see that he dropped nuggets on top of nuggets tonight. I hope that if you had a notepad, you wrote some of this stuff down. Y'all see his website, go hit it up because he has a lot going on. Do not sleep on him. That's all I got to say.
Mm.
So my thing for y'all tonight, the biggest announcement is the prophetic conference. My baby, my baby, my baby. So I started it last year. We had the first one last year. The second one is going to be this year. The title of the prophetic conference this year is called the Waiting Room Experience. I promise you, you won't
Mm.
be disappointed. It is going to be on July the 30th. So I am going to start getting the flyers put up so everybody can start to register. Registration fee is going to start out at 15. If you want a t-shirt with your registration, it'll be 35, and that's just to take care of your t-shirt. Make sure you send me your t-shirt size and all of that. I'm looking forward to having you guys with us this year. Last year, we had 25 to 30 people on Zoom, and we had a wonderful time for 5 hours straight.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing but what the Lord had to say. And I mean, we got it in last year. So I'm excited for it this year because I know the Lord is going to move even greater than what he did last year. Also, Quint is not up here with me tonight. So I do not know what all of her announcements were. I do know that we have a event coming up here on the ninth on the show in April. It is a domestic violence event, so please tune into that as well. It's going to be at 8 o'clock that night. I will be posting the flyer up, you guys, so you guys can see that rotating as well, because y'all do know that we are domestic violence advocates as well. So we have a lot going on down the pipe with that. We have the Stop the Violence coming up before the summer comes in. We have a You Have a Name conference that's coming up as well. We also have the first Trailblazers radio retreat that's coming up. That is going to be on April the 29th, I do believe. But I will make sure that that is set in stone with you guys. So we have to have a little meeting about that one before I just say okay. But other than that, I thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. Fred, do you have any announcements, sir? So, do you have any announcements, sir? No announcements. Okay. So Fred doesn't have any announcements for us tonight. Other than that, we thank you guys for coming on and supporting us. Y'all saw what he said. Y'all heard what he said. Now all y'all got to do is go to the website and watch him put the rest in action. So hit him up. All right. So I expect him to say he got a lot of hits from the folks that watch us. Thank you guys for the support. Again, he will be back because this will not be his one and only time for being up here. I
Yeah.
gotta have him back, right? So, and maybe we can have the group on next time. So we might
Yeah,
have to
that'd
do
be
it via right. So
that'd
maybe we might have to do the next one via Zoom instead of StreamYard, so we can have everybody
yeah,
on the
yeah.
board.
Let's set that
But it
up
will be
like that.
right. We gonna set it up.
Yeah,
Trust me.
you're gonna love my.
So, that'll be all right with me. So I will get that set up and we will talk about some things. We're going to discuss that tonight.
All right.
So I thank y'all again. I love y'all to life. Y'all already know that that is my motto. I speak life into y'all. Be good, live life on purpose, and make it count every day. We love y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Peace and progress.